Hello there, my dear friends. Today I want to talk about the Gypsy people. You all know that the Gypsy people have their origin in India. And about 1,000 years ago, they began to migrate to Europe. And the Gypsies, they speak a language called the Roma language. It's the Rome language. Grammatically, it's close to Hungarian language, the Hungarian language, because the Roma language uses postpositions. That is, for instance, if you want to say the sentence "in my heart" in English with this postpositions, would be something like "heart my in." For instance, in Hungarian, they also use postpositions, and in Hungarian, "in my heart" is szívemben. So, if you want to learn their language, the Roma language, you have to expect to speak with postpositions. The word gypsy is to believe to be something that is close to the word Egyptian. So maybe the people in England, when the Gypsies arrived to England, they thought that they came from Egypt, so they called them Gypsies, like Egyptians. But as you all know, they came from India. And you have, there are lots of different types of Gypsies. There are Gypsies in Finland, they're called the Kale. You have Romanian Gypsies. They are called Calderaș. You can also find them in Bulgaria, where there lives about 10% of the population in Bulgaria are Gypsies. So, and the Calderaș, they were called Calderaș because they were craftsmen, and they manufactured cauldrons, buckets. So the people there in England call them Calderaș, as for the word cauldron. And as a matter of fact, I think you're looking at a Calderaș gypsy right now, because, you know, I recorded this gypsy outside a store. And I know because they arrive here in Sweden with their own cars, with their vans, and you can spot the license plates, and this is Bulgarian license plates. So they arrive here now. They don't need any visas. They arrive here to beg for money. And first time they arrived in Sweden, that was in 1525. So they keep arriving. The first Gypsies that arrived in Europe, they were treated very badly. They were kept as slaves, and the authorities marked them by cutting their ears. They wanted to know who is the Gypsy, so they marked them. Pretty much like they did to the Jews during World War II, the Nazis. They put stars, David's stars, on the clothes of the Jews so they could spot the Jews. So they were also marked. And you know, the Jews were sent to the extermination camps, and concentration camps, and so were the Gypsies. They were also sent there, and they were executed during World War II by the Nazis, because they were subhumans, you know, as the Germans call the Jews Untermenschen. They were subhumans. So, Gypsies, they are very family-orientated. They are clans people. They stick together as a group. They have lots of traditions. Young Gypsies have to take care of their elders, their parents. A Gypsy girl is supposed to marry a Gypsy man. She has to be a virgin before the marriage. Gypsies wash their underwear separately, and they have purity laws. They could be religious, both Christians and Muslims. gypsies could be Muslims or Christians. So what do they do professionally? Usually they are, Middle Ages they were craftsmen. Like nowadays they're mostly begging for money on the streets, like panhandlers. They could play the accordion, so musically they could be talented. And the female gypsies, they are fortune tellers. You can tell the story by looking in your hand about you. And selling fake gold along the motorways. That's a trade, modern trade for gypsies. They stop people, drivers on the motorway, at the rest areas, that is, and offer them golden rings and try to fool people to buy golden rings. They usually sell used cars. In the buy cars, they try to get a good deal on your used car. I had an encounter with gypsies because I was supposed to sell my old Mercedes-Benz. This was 20 years ago, and I put an ad in the newspaper, and actually gypsies called me before the newspaper was out on print, before the advertisement was out on print. So somehow they got my number and they showed up. It was not one gypsy, but a couple of them, because they never travel alone. If one gypsy wants to buy a car, his brother has to go along. So they showed up and they gave me an offer, and I refused this offer because it was very little money for my car. It was not what I wanted for it, so I sold it to some other guy for the price that I wanted. But I tried to make a living out of used cars, and they usually tamper with the car to change, the speedometer. So, the car has a high mileage. The gypsy buys the car and changes the mileage, so the buyer thinks it's has a low mileage. So they are not very trustworthy, those dear gypsies.